Ropp Star Gang, what up, what up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure, as you coming in, make sure you pound that like button, hit that subscribe button, holla at your boy, but don't scream at me. What a beautiful day. It's Monday, and I'm back. Like I never left. Honestly, I've been away from the channel for a couple days. You know, ever since the only thing I did last week for content wise was the NFC South Roundtable, which some of you are voted that you're not subscribed to, and you need to go do that. Okay. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Roundtable Sports.
Roundtable Sports Network brings you NFL divisional debate coverage on a weekly basis from your favorite content creators across YouTube, featuring the AFC East Roundtable live Monday and Wednesday evenings, the AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST, the AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST, the NFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST, the AFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST, the NFC East Roundtable live Thursdays at 6 p.m. EST. Roundtable Sports, real coverage from real fans.
So shout out to the Roundtable Sports. We did our first episode of the NFC South Roundtable, and honestly, meeting those guys, getting to know them, was really cool. Obviously, we didn't really have a lot of discussions where we were just disagreeing. We kind of all agreed here, but you know, it was such a great experience. I can't wait to do the next episode tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow, second episode of the NFC South Roundtable starts tomorrow at 7 p.m. EST. So make sure you go check it out. Go to over to that channel, subscribe to it, and go like, of course. And of course, Roundtable Sports, do the same thing there, of course, not just the NFC South Roundtable, and do it for all the creators, honestly. If you want to stay up to date with even other teams, maybe within the league, Roundtable Sports got you. They have every creator for every 32 teams. So if you haven't checked it out yet, please go ahead and do so. We got Marcos Cash in the chat already. What's up, Marcos? Marcos comes in and says, what up, Panther Nation? Subscribe, hit that bell for the latest news and updates, analysts, and of course, Carolina Panthers. Don't forget to show up and your love and support. Pound that like button on your way in. And then Miss Elizabeth Lassiter, let's go. Thank you so much. Shout out to Miss Lassiter for becoming another, I think, re-upping your membership, honestly. So appreciate that. Dropping the bomb on that one. And then giving her a nice little air horn. So shout out to you, Miss Elizabeth. Appreciate you. Miss Elizabeth coming in with that membership. Appreciate you. The MC Hammer Mad Chatters in here. What's up, man? Marcos Cash coming in. Broski Bear just dropping basically bars. You know, that's what Broski Bear comes in here. He comes in here to troll the Panthers, but then he'll come in here and drop bars. So that's all right. We allow him to be in here. We allow him to be in here. We actually enjoy Mr. Broski Bear. At first, we didn't, but you know, we all have to have an open mind, right? What's up, James Island? My boy Dan Mitch, he's live over on his channel, if I'm not mistaken. He's over there chopping it up, right? So, guys, so make sure you go over to the Roundtable Sports. Go check it out. We just did the first episode of the NFC South Roundtable. We did the live. Of course, we got another live tomorrow. We also dropped a video of ranking the QB rankings of the NFC South. So go over there, check that out. We got Toxic Black. We got Mr. Toxic in here. Appreciate everyone. So, guys, we got a lot to talk about. I didn't get to give you all my thoughts. Did a short show. Okay. I didn't know if he was done or not. I didn't get to give you my thoughts so far in the training camp the past couple of days. And then, of course, the preseason. So we're going to go over that as well. But there are some concerns I want to talk to you guys about. All right. There are some concerns that I want to talk to you guys about. There is some cap space. All right. There is some positional spending that I want to talk about here, because as we're getting ready for the week 1, we kind of need to we find ourselves navigating a complex financial landscape of this roster and in the need of some significant upgrades for this team, because we only have, if we look at our cap space, we only have like 6.1 million in our salary cap space available. So we have a limited amount of flexibility to make any additional moves, right? The challenges that we're facing here as Panthers fans is a really like multifaceted ordeal. Okay. So there have been some financial constraints and we have to make some strategical decisions throughout the rest of this offseason before week 1. All right. So if we go look, I'm going to pull it up here real quick. I'm going to pull it up here real quick because we need to look at this cap space. Because I think a lot of people aren't talking about this. It needs to be talked about because really we need to be looking at what we can do before this, before week 1. We need to figure out what we can do to obviously make this a lot, I wouldn't say a lot better, but so there we go. Perfect. All right. So this should be, is that better? That should be good there. All right. So we're looking at this cap space. Actually, we've got total cap allegations, that dead cap, we're eating around 46. Reserve list 4.2. Okay. So Broski Bear, you cannot be telling me you got Jack Plummer in front of Bryce. I guess you didn't watch that that preseason game because Jack Plummer sucks. All right. He reminds me of Ryan Mallett from Arkansas. Has a cannon of an arm, but can't fucking throw it on the broadside of a barn. And that was actual bar, actually. That was an actual bar. So with this current roster, we're looking at these financial constraints right now. I kind of want to might use over the cap instead. That's better. Yeah, let's use over the cap instead. Yeah, Lutton played. He looked better than Plummer, in my opinion. We're going to talk about the preseason game, and we're going to watch some of it as well. I've got the all NFL 22, so we'll go through some of that gameplay a little bit. But I'm going to give you my winners and losers of that players wise. I'm also going to be just kind of discussing my takeaways from it. PFF came out with a bunch of grades for that preseason game, so we'll discuss that as well. So right now, if we're looking at this roster, right, total cap liabilities, we got over that, offense, defense, of course. So cap space 6.1, like I said. So this roster reflects basically, you look at this roster and you look at this cap space, the heavy investment in specific areas, particularly obviously in the offensive line. This has become really in the NFL. The offensive line has become the most expensive unit in the NFL, in my opinion, right? Besides the quarterbacks, the offensive line is massive, right? So the commitment on the offensive line totals up to, if we just did totals between our offensive line, which I added up, it comes out to around 71.9 million, right? Which surpasses Kansas City, who is second. They have like 70.6, right? And I saw that. So as I was looking up who's got the most expensive offensive lines, and ours didn't come up, but I was like reading back into it. I was like, there's no way between Damian Lewis signing and Robert Hunt and then everybody else on the team that we don't have one of the most expensive offensive line units. So I went back and then I went through here and I added it all up. But then this is a strong investment. This is the reason why I'm talking about this, though, because investing in a strong offensive line is typically a wise strategy, right? After last year for the Carolina Panthers, we know that it was a wise strategy, right? We know it was a wise strategy, okay? Because after your rookie quarterback, Bryce Young, comes out there and gets sacked 62 times. So, but there has been some questions about the spending here in Carolina, right? You sign Robert Hunt for a 5-year, $100 million contract. So Hunt's deal is substantial for a right guard. While he is a competent player, the value of him is a very hefty one. So in this position, you can make it debatable in that aspect of things. Okay, Damian Lewis, left guard, 4-year, $53 million contract. Right here, coming across the board there. Right, that's also very expensive. And it also kind of seems a little excessive to me. Like I'm kind of looking at this now because you got to think about it this way. Given his average performance in Seattle, that's a very hefty contract for a guy who was average in Seattle, right? Now, again, when he has had his years in Seattle where he was above average. Don't get me wrong. But in the past couple, I would say past at least last year, maybe the year before, looking at his grading, it's a little bit about around average, which is better than what we had last year. Let's be honest. Okay. So I can't really complain there. But you have to think about the decisions, right? That this front office is making, right? We made significant resources to these guard positions, and it could be viewed as a misallocation of funds given the importance of other positions. Now, again, thankfully, you have a guy who is a financial genius, right? A financial genius and Brant Tillis, right? So, there could be some, obviously, there could be some maneuvering, right? We know the cap space is always just I think it's almost like misconstrued almost. Like we know you can maneuver the cap space. The Saints did it for how many years, right? But now they're in cap purgatory. Somehow they're looking at right now, the Falcons are, sorry. I think the Saints were looking at him, but now the Falcons look like they might be ended up signing Justin Simmons, if y'all haven't heard about that news. But another thing is the Panthers spending in other critical areas tells a different story. So, like for the quarterbacks, wish I could do this based off just the positions. Oh, I can. So if we do it based off the quarterback positions, but I wanted to do it just for the Panthers. Can I not do that? Okay. What if I just do, but I want to do it through the quarterback? Maybe not. Guess I can't do that. All right, that's fine. Anyway, so if we go look at the quarterback position, okay, we got Bryce Young's deal here. All right. Base salary is at $915,000. Signing $1.1 million. Bonus 1.5. Guarantee salary 2.4. So, and here's the cap savings. Here's the dead cap 22.31. All right. So there you go. So as we go down, let's see what else we got. Because I know our quarterbacks have got to be pretty damn low here. We got Felipe Franks on this team. What the fuck is he doing on this team? Isn't he playing tight end? Oh, he's playing quarterback. When the fuck did we get Felipe Franks? Can anybody tell me that? Can someone who Clay respects ask him why Bryce did not start? Here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know why they decided they didn't want Bryce to start. Honestly, Matt Chatter, it doesn't make sense to me. After I think it's because of they're concerned of injuries on this team. But the thing is like, I don't, I don't, I don't get it. I think that Bryce should have started the preseason week 1 game. I seriously do. I really do. Guys, make sure you do me a favor. Make sure you pound the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And obviously make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on new content. PBG says I'm ready to become a LA Rams fan if we don't draft well this upcoming draft. PBG's not a ride or die, but hey, I mean, listen, people transition. It happens. I can't believe we have Felipe Franks. I didn't even know that. Can instructions don't run, throw quick, right? So the thing is that again, though, Matt Chatter, do I know why? I don't know why. Does it make sense to me? No. I think that they should have had Bryce Young starting that game. They should have had at least the starters play the first quarter. I want to see what this team has. That's what all of us Panthers fans want to see. And they're talking about that Bryce might not even play a snap in the preseason. I want to see the first starters of this team in a preseason game, at least a quarter, so I can see what we've got going on. And I want to see actual play calling. I don't want to see the vanilla. I'm tired of the fucking vanilla bullshit with this team. I mean, raise your hand in the chat. Put a hand up in the chat if you're tired of the vanilla offense and bullshit. Run the fucking playbook, because we don't know, just for a quarter. This vanilla offense, PBG, like, I mean, am I wrong to say that we should not be sitting here and watching our first team starters that haven't, because we got a lot of new faces on this team. Even Felipe Franks here, which I had no idea was on this team, even though he's not a quarterback, he's a tight end. They got him listed as quarterback in here. But we don't have any secrets. Exactly, broski. I mean, I just want to see what we have on this team for our first year starters. Like, I don't want to see Jack Plummer go out there and look like he's waiting on an invitation to a birthday party. That's what he looked like. He looked like he was standing at a mailbox waiting for an invitation. Jack Plummer sucks. Any of you guys thought that Jack Plummer was going to be better than Bryce Young? I'm sorry. Jake Luton looked good. I will say, when Jake Luton got on the field, it looked a lot better. Obviously, because Jake has some experience in the NFL. But Jack Plummer got a cannon of an arm, but he couldn't hit a broadside of the barn, man. I'm telling you. He looks good in training camp. 1 minute, next thing you know, he looks like ass. All right? Jack Plummer ain't it. Never was, never will be. Jake Luton's not it either. He's a backup at best. But, we don't know what this team has until we see it on the field. That's the thing that I'm getting at with the and I'm getting off topic here because we're talking about the cap space and stuff like that because I want to go over it today. But it makes no sense, man. Like, stop playing this vanilla bullshit and let's stop playing this vanilla bullshit and let's get let's see what this first team has. Marcos, please, for the love of God, send Cade Mays back to to Tennessee. Send Cade Mays back to Tennessee, please, because he's about as worthless as tits on a boar hog. I'm sorry. Like, it's like, it's tough defending this team. It's tough being a content creator for this team, but I love this team and I'm always going to be there. But I'm also going to be real with you guys. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. And it's the same thing with Bryce. Like, I can't, like, I'm not shying away from Bryce Young yet. Okay. I'm going to give him all the benefit of the doubt up to a certain point. I will say it's up to a certain point. All right. I'm going to give Bryce a chance here up to a certain point. And you'll know when my certain point goes away because you'll hear all about it. Right. But let me get back to the cap space. We'll go over the preseason game. We're going to watch it. We're going to break it down on the all 22. So let's get back to this cap space. So, all right. So we got Jake Luton here, 1.1 million. Where's Jack Plummer? 795,000. Send his ass back home. Wherever he came from. Back to Louisville. But I think I'm missing Andy Dalton, honestly. Think I'm missing Andy. Yeah, and Andy's at 4. So you're probably around between 16.3 million, right? Which that ranks us 19th in spending, which I looked that up. So investing in the quarterback. So obviously, given the fact that they're only spending that much, tells me that they've got high expectations still for Bryce Young. Now, when we look at cornerbacks, and I did the edge rushers. So when we look at the cornerbacks, edge rushers, guys like that. So like, Clowney, JC Horn, who else am I? DJ Wanu, Josie, not Josie Jewell. Who else am I missing here? Dane Jackson. All right, just to name a few. Okay. Between those two groups, we're spending about 6.6. On the cornerback room, we're spending about 19.2. These areas are underfunded, I will say. All right. Compared to our counterparts in the league in a pass-heavy NFL. Investing more in these positions might have been a better use of our resources. All right. I'm just saying. Wide receiver's another one. We only spent about 32.6 million. And we're around 15th in the league in that room. So the absence of a true number one wide receiver 2, I guess you could still say it's Adam Thielen, but it could undermine the offense potentially because really Adam Thielen's actually a wide receiver 3 because he plays the slot. Okay. Wide receiver 2 is normally another outside guy. Okay. So all these funds to me suggest that the Panthers have made significant moves to obviously just go after the offensive line. Again, it's a critical area. You want to keep your quarterback upright. We can all agree that the offensive line is a critical area because it makes your quarterback better. It helps the run game, helps the pass game, so on and so forth, right? We understand at least the basics of it, I think, or at least all you do, right? I could go into more detail in that, but I'm not going to, okay? Because I'm harping on this a little bit too much because I got off topic earlier. But cornerback and edge rusher have not received the adequate attention. Now, again, this could be something that they're looking to in the draft next year. Maybe they're looking in the waiver wires coming up. So to me, this imbalance of the financial fundings, to me, could impact this team overall in competitiveness, especially in a league where it's pass heavy. Your defensive playmakers are crucial for your success just as much as your offensive line. And again, it's hard to balance that out, guys. I think we also got to understand it's hard to balance out between the offensive line and how to obviously get everything else. It's hard to get it all. So again, it is what it is, but I think that people aren't realizing how much we heavily invested in this offensive line and where other areas needed to be invested as well. Okay. I respect that, Clay. I need to be objective about it. Can't drink the Kool-Aid, expect to gain respect. Well, it's just like I said the other day, right? So on the NFC South Roundtable, we were asked, what are our quarterback rankings, right? What are our quarterback rankings? And if you haven't watch the video, go to the NFC South Roundtable. We all gave our thoughts on on each and every one of our quarterbacks. and also gave our rankings and stuff like that. And basically, here's the thing, guys. All right. When it comes to the NFC South quarterbacks, okay, and it's the same thing with kind of like how we were talking about Roundtable Sports. Like, I still think the Falcons will win the NFC South right now. Just because of that offense there, right? It's just dangerous, right? There's no telling what could happen, but it looks dangerous, right? So when I'm talking about the Carolina Panthers, guys, and I'm talking about Bryce Young, and I've been keeping it real from the beginning this year because I'm not going to do what I did last year, and I made that promise to myself and you guys. This year is our year for progress. This is not the division. This is not about the division. This is not about playoffs. This is about making progress and being competitive. That's what it's about. It's all about Bryce Young's development, and it's all about if Canales can work his magic like he did with Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, and Baker Mayfield, and do the same with Bryce Young. And if he can do that, we might surprise some people. But in the meantime, I need to see it to believe it. Until then. Right now, the dead cap sideburn is at dead cap total, if I'm not mistaken, it's at like 46 mil. I think it's around 46. Yes. It's around 46 mil. Around 46 mil right there. There it is, 46.1. So, all right, let's get it. Let's get right into that preseason game. Let's talk about that real quick. Gilmore to Vikings, eh? Is that true? Did that just come out? Let me go check. It looks like the Falcons are visiting Justin Simmons is visiting the Falcons. Mark. Okay. I'm just trying to see if that's true or not. I don't see anything yet. Holy smokes. I don't see anything yet. Oh. Yeah, I don't see anything. There goes some of that money that could be used in. Well, Cyburn, they're going to, the good thing is that they're doing this year is that they're getting rid of all the dead cap, right? It's a visit only for Gilmore. Thanks, Matt Chatter. Okay. So does that mean so Gilmore's visiting the Vikings, Justin Simmons is visiting the Falcons. So and I wouldn't say we really need Justin Simmons. Wouldn't mind of looking at him, but also Gilmore going to the Vikings. I mean, if he believes what they got going on there, whatever. All right. Let's get right into this preseason game. Really didn't want to talk about this because honestly, it was shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. In this preseason opener against them, like the Carolina Panthers lost 17-3, right? Pro Football Focus came out with a bunch of craziness. There's a lot there. I'm going to try to shed some light on this a little bit, but I mean, the offense was just terrible. Really, when you go look at the offense, there was only two players that stood out to me. And really, it was, and when I say they stood out, some of it's good, some of it's bad. I will say Jordan Matthews was a bright spot in this game. He had 3 catches. He caught all 3 of his targets. He had 48 yards. He obviously demonstrated he's got some reliable hands as one of the few offensive players who made a positive impact. You got Jack Plummer. Now, again, he was just subpar, man. When you go look at his PFF grade, it was like a 39.2, passer rating of a 62.8. I mean, he just struggled significantly. Like, he just, like, watch this play here. Does he pass here? No. Yeah, he does. I mean, he's getting the ball out quick, but I mean, that's just poor accuracy, though, on him. I mean, and he was sacked 5 times. I mean, there's one right there. Multiple fumbles. I mean, obviously, it's an urgent that we might need to look into some other quarterbacks coming in. Ryan Tannehill or even Kellen Mond. Like, those are guys that are still available. I know Andy Dalton's still here, but we might need to be looking at some other veterans. Other offensive players, Cade Mays, 33.7 grade as PFF. I mean, send that boy back to UT. Send that boy back to UT. Let's be honest. Jonathan Mingo. You go look at his PFF grade, and if you watch the game, 37.6 grade. Had some drops. Terrace Marshall had a drop. Both of them had drops, and that's an issue for me because, for me, Jonathan Mingo was kind of on my hot seat, and so is Terrace Marshall. I'd say Terrace Marshall's more on my hot seat than Mingo, but you can't go into training camp and then come out here and show you're not going to make the catches. And that's been the biggest issue with this team is obviously this game to me exposed depth issues and inconsistency on the offensive side of the ball. That's what I saw. Defensive side, Panthers were far better. Iku Leota, outside linebacker, had a 90.1 overall grade by PFF. And then including he had an 81.4 in run defense. So his disruptive presence was a key factor in keeping the game close. The guy looked like Frankie Louvu out there. Not just because he's an oos. I'm saying that because that's what he was playing like, right? I thought he performed very well. I was very surprised by him. Now, I'm not going to say this guy's the next Frankie Louvu, but he definitely showed it in this game, okay? We got a lot of season left to go. So, again, if he can consistently play that, we might have something there. Again, Luigi, another one. He performed well. He earned himself like an 89.9 overall grade. His contributions were critical. Obviously maintaining this defensive competitiveness. Claude Churlis was another one. He had an 84.5 grade, standout pass rusher performance overall. He had like an 85.5. So obviously some strong potential there with him. However, not all defensive performances were positive. Willie Drew struggled mightily. I had high hopes for the undrafted free agent. He had a low 26.0 grade in coverage. So again, still some concerns in the secondary for me after watching some of this game. But, that's part of it. At least according to PFF, right? Yeah, I mean, Zavala didn't look too bad, Cyburn. He didn't look too bad. Broski Bear, don't take this as trolling. It might be worth let him start. Listen, Broski Bear, I'm open to that approach. Don't get me wrong. But I'm gonna give Bryce Young this full season, right? This is my idea. I'm gonna give Bryce Young this full season. Okay. If he meets my expectations of 3,500 plus yards, 20 plus touchdowns, and 12 or less interceptions, then great. If he doesn't, then yes, I say we bring in a veteran next year. Give him till week 6 of next year. Basically, that's into November. of next season. And if he shits the bed still, then it's time to move on. I'm trying to give this kid as much time as I can. Now, some people are going to give him till week 6 this year, and I know that. But I need to know, and Marcos is right. I would say the same thing. I think that I would rather know now, too. Like, I mean, we can make the case that we should give him till week 6 of just this year instead of next year. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt till next year, week 6, but there's a lot of people that could disagree with me on that. And that's fine. But I do think that it's better for him to come out there now because it will give me some time to say, well, maybe we should only give him till week 6 of this year, depending on how the first, honestly, depending on how the first 3 games go. I have to see what we have. But again, we need to see what we have now. That's the issue. He's not playing any games in preseason right now, at least according to Dave Canales. And I think that's bullshit. So the winners of this game, like players wise, was Jordan Matthews, Iku, Leota. Both of those guys were great. The guys that were definitely losers was definitely Jack Plummer. And then our backup offensive line was absolutely atrocious. All right. Our backup offensive line failed to provide any adequate protection. It's resulted in several pressures, 5 sacks. That's a concern for me. Now, some of the guys did pretty well. Like Zavala actually kind of did mediocre. Like Cyburn was mentioning. Some other guys did well, but Cade Mays needs to be cut, I think. And they brought in some new talent, which is great. But there are some remaining objectives that I think for me before week 1. Let's talk about the week 1 approach here, guys. Right? We got to get healthy, right? Injuries have been a significant issue with several players dealing with the elements here, right? You got Xavier Legette. Now, of course, today he was back on the field. I heard he didn't really practice, but he was back out on there, doing some, I'm assuming he was just out there kind of stretching, running, maybe kind of getting himself, just getting some movement, right? Obviously recovering from that foot injury, and has missed some practice time, but I'd like to see him come back, hopefully by the joint practice. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if there's an update for Xavier Legette's return, but it's good. It was good to see him back on the field today. Andy Dalton, again, is another guy I want to see come back. We got to get healthy before week 1. That is the biggest concern for me right now. Andy Dalton is doubtful for the preseason due to that quad injury. So, you got Steven Sullivan, Ian Thomas. I think Steven Sullivan, if I'm not mistaken, just got cut. And then Ian Thomas he's dealing with an injury, but sounds like he made an appearance on the field today. And that's a big impact and a depth concern, at least in the tight end room. And then you got Amari Barno, Josh Nijman, both of them on the PUP list. So it just continues to add to the team's, to me, concerns from an injury standpoint. And I think that this team really needs to navigate these challenges and find these key players to get us ready for the regular season. And whether it's through waiver wires or what. Now, again, we got to think about this. We're trying to establish a new culture here in Carolina, right? Because we've been through so much turmoil, inconsistency in recent years, right? We've had multiple coach changes. We got underwhelming performances. You got Dave Canales faces the task of instilling a new culture and motivating players to perform at their best, right? That's what they're trying to bring here. So the success of this effort is going to be crucial for this team, right? That's going to also be crucial to that rebuilding process and the long-term success of this team. But another thing is that another major concern for me is that Adam Thielen and Deontay Johnson are already reliable options. But can Jonathan Mingo be that true number 2 wide receiver? Can Xavier Legette be that true number 1 wide receiver? Right? We have to find a true number 2. Sorry. true number 2 wide receiver. Let me reiterate that. Let me back up a few steps there. True number 2 wide receiver. Because you already know Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen are both going to be reliable, right? But can Jonathan Mingo or if it's Xavier Legette, can either one of them two become that true number 2 wide receiver and enhance this wide receiver room? Mingo in training camp so far is looking like an absolute stud. In this game, he had some significant drops, and his development is crucial for providing that consistency downfield options and really elevating that pressure on the other wide receivers in this room. So again, overall, this whole recent performance by the preseason for the Carolina Panthers was just it was atrocious. It wasn't good. Yeah, Harrison Mavis got cut. The thicker kicker got cut. OT Tyler Smith signed. Logan Thomas available. Yep. Yeah, I hate that about Harris. Juju washed. I think so, Mad Chatter. Or he just doesn't want to put the work in. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Jake Peavy made a return. He's rejoining the team on that defensive line. So sounded like today too. Sounded like today that the offense was not very well at training camp. I don't know if you guys are following that, right? I don't know if you guys are following that, but training camp today, based off of Twitter, said that the offense was the entire offense was doing gassers afterwards today. So it sounded like to me the offense was not very good today from a training camp standpoint. But the Carolina Panthers did bring in a bunch of new players. They signed a bunch of new guys, which I think is great to add to the depth, which we needed to do. We needed to bring in some depth in here. So they added the Lord native, like Matt Chatter was talking about, the Tyler Smith. And I think they added a few other players in there too as well. Let me see. Not mistaken. Yeah, they also signed offensive lineman Jake Anderson and defensive lineman Walter Palmore. And then they brought back wide receiver Tavon Robinson, who has already had a handful of practices with us in camp, which they were able to do that because they waived Willie Drew. They waived running back Jaden Sherndon, which I was very surprised about Jaden Sherndon. I had very high hopes. Both of those guys, Willie Drew and Jaden Sherndon, that they waived. I was very surprised by those two guys. I was hoping that they would make the roster. And then, of course, they waived Devin Tompkins. They waived Devin Tompkins due to his injury. Let's see. But I think the reason why they waived Devin Tompkins is I think that Emir Smith-Marset was going to fill that role and provide that depth in the receiver room. So they've already made some moves, but they've decided to fill that interior offensive line and bringing in guys. So I think, which is great. Sorry, guys. I'm stopping for a second there. Yo, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to see who else they brought in. Okay, so they brought Jake Anderson in. Cade Mays also suffered a shoulder injury. So, and I think it's a good signing, though, bringing in Jake Anderson. I'm looking forward to him Provide a lot of depth there. Let's see. Got some chats here real quick. Clay, do you follow college football? I need to scout those QBs in case Panthers have number one pick or top 5 next. Yeah, I do, broski. Well, listen, if broski, if it ends up being that case, if that ends up being the case, my guy, I will be live. I did draft content last year. I did draft content last year. So yeah. If it gets to that point, I think I started doing draft content mid-season last year, if I'm not mistaken, or it was like after week 6 when we started 0-6. So yeah, I'll definitely be giving you my top my top quarterbacks. I'll tell you right now, the way I look at it right now at the quarterback position, there's 3 guys that are obviously the top 3. It's Carson Beck, it's Shador Sanders, and then of course Quentin Ewers. But there are some sleepers out there right now, broski, you might probably want to look into. Drew Allard out of Penn State could be a guy. Another guy that I think people are sleeping on is Dart out of Ole Miss, could be a sleeper as well. And another guy that I'm going to say is a dark horse sleeper, and I'm just saying this because I hope that that can become that guy there at NC State, is Grayson McCall out of NC State. Just because he played at Coastal for me, I watched him play. He's got a lot of broski. But you're a Penn State fan? Hell yeah, dude. Me too. I'm actually a Gamecock fan, Penn State fan, and a Coastal fan. Number one, I want to make this clear. Why am I a Gamecock fan? All my family went to USC on my mom's side. Why am I a Penn State fan? All my family on my dad's side went to Penn State. Why am I a Coastal fan? Because that's where I graduated from college. So I have 3 college teams. And I have 1 NFL team. So anyways, so just a couple updates on that. Training camp for the most part, past couple days, I kind of wanted to discuss that real quick. Actually, let's talk about yesterday's training camp. A lot of new faces in the mix from yesterday. Despite the growing list of offensive line issues, absences, standout quarterback continues to honestly make some moves somehow. But this was from Sunday's practice that I'm giving you. The Panthers made some fresh moves before obviously practice kicked off. We were kind of going over that real quick. Jack Anderson, who's got 15 games under his belt in the NFL over 3 seasons. They brought back Tavon Robinson, and they brought in defensive lineman Walter Palmore. Both of them have had their time with this team before. Again, they waved goodbye to Jaden Sheridan, Willie Drew, and Devin Tompkins, unfortunately. Josh Nishman, who is the backup plan for tackle spot, has been delivered a bit of a reality check. He's on the PUP list. He's basically in the recovery room right now until he's able to get back on the field. But some preseason standouts by Dave Canales. He talked about Deshaun Jameson, Trevin Wallace, both of those guys, which is huge. Alex Cook, he talked about. EQ Leota was his standouts. He also talked about Mike Boone. So, again, that was some things that he iterated yesterday as well. So, match chatter 16 is Plummer. Lutton is, if I'm not mistaken, is number 2. If I'm not mistaken, is number 2. Let's see if there's any. Big names are back. So looks like Xavier Legette was back on the practice field. So was Shaq Thompson and Tommy Trimble today. Let's see. So I wanted to go through that real quick. Looks like there was a bunch of guys back today from the training camp. Let's see what else we got. That's it right now. All right. Let's talk about this. All right. Enough of the highlights. Y'all saw the game. Let's talk about Mr. Miles Sanders. Actually, I want to find that tweet real quick about Miles Sanders. So apparently, now again, Dallas, and this is by Law Nation. If you don't know who he is, go check out his YouTube. He's very good. Law Nation came out and posted this up. The Cowboys are being linked to Dalvin Cook and our Miles Sanders. I really want to talk about this because this is something that could be interesting to see what the Panthers do, right? They bring Miles Sanders has kind of been in this, and I talked about this earlier before this really came out to be a really rumor. I thought that this could be something that the Cowboys could look into. Obviously, when Sanders came here, the expectations were sky high when he signed that big contract. Because he had a Pro Bowl year before he came here. He was supposed to be kind of like that cornerstone of our offense. And then the 2023 season didn't quite live up to the hype. So injuries, beleaguered the offensive line was also an issue. It left a lot of question marks around Sanders and how he was going to fulfill his potential here in Carolina. Now, it was a rough start. We have decided to give Sanders another shot. And over this offseason, he's shed some weight. He has looked rejuvenated in training camp. He kind of has this spark of hope that he's ready to prove it. That us critics, us fans, and other critics around him wrong. His newfound drive to me suggests that him as a player, he's trying to redeem himself after a season that just kind of left us Panthers fans scratching our heads. So his future with the Panthers is murky. Especially with the looming of Jonathan Brooks looming over his head. And if this guy, if Jonathan Brooks continues to come closer to game ready, this situation could raise some stakes for Sanders. Really, I think Jonathan Brooks is going to make a push for that, not only the backup, but the starting position when he comes back. That's how much confidence I have in Jonathan Brooks. So Sanders is going to have to make a compelling case for this spot on the lineup. Now, to me, this is a good chance for us to really make a trade that makes sense. Because we were just talking about the cap space, the roster decisions, what we need to do, right? We need to fill the voids in certain position groups: edge, corner, backup offensive line. Hell, you could even say the tight end room, right? So far, that's what it seems like, right? The Cowboys are keeping a close eye on Miles Sanders because all they have is Ezekiel Elliott, Deuce Vaughn, and Rico Dowdle. I think that's what they're working with there right now. Okay. They have a lot of uncertainties because they're in Dallas. They're trying to figure out if I think they also picked up Royce Freeman, but Royce Freeman ain't shit like he used to be when he was at the Broncos. No offense. But you got Tony Pollard, who went off to the Titans, right? You got Elliott, who's expected to lead this backfield for the Cowboys and manage that workload. I think Dallas is obviously looking to re-up that running game a little bit more to take. Obviously, I think when they had a good running game, it took a lot of pressure off of Dak, and Dak played better. Daddle's health and Freeman's previous performance, they don't look too good over there in Dallas, right? But if they bring in a guy like Miles Sanders, That's a significant upgrade for them. And I think Sanders would fit greatly there. I think he would be a significant upgrade there in Dallas to back up Ezekiel. But honestly, Miles Sanders probably would be the number one running back there, and Zeke would be that third down guy, right? And the goal line guy, right? But the problem is Dallas is currently juggling through contracts negotiations, like with Dak Prescott, Parsons, CD. And Jerry Jones has come out and boldly declared his intention to go all in for this Super Bowl this year, which to me, what moves that they make this year may suggest that, right? Because the teams, the actions that he's made so far and this team's made so far, to me, that's a different narrative, right? So for our dilemma, it's like, do we trade Miles Sanders or do we not trade Miles Sanders? I think giving this recent upswing in performance and then Brooks' ongoing rehab, this team already is facing potential gaps in the backfield because you got Rashad Penny's retirement, right? However, if Dallas comes in with like an offer that you can't fucking refuse, I think the Panthers could be tempted to make that deal. Because you think about it this way, Dan is now leading the Panthers with a pragmatic business-first approach, right? So he's going to weigh any offer that comes his way. So if Sanders aligns with a long-term trade strategy and brings that significant value back to us, it could be a big move worth considering for us, right? So if the Cowboys are indeed interested, it's a scenario worth watching to me. And if this rumor continues to come out, we'll see. But Sanders could potentially find himself back in the NFC East with a team that has obviously aspirations to rebuild that running back room there. I think the Panthers are keen to keep Sanders. I think the possibility of trade remains definitely on the table. It just depends on what approach they take here, right? I think we have the keen eye on both short-term gains, and then you also have to think about the long term, right? So as long as we manage this and we navigate those decisions with a good focus and on how this can enhance our roster and meeting our future goals and our cap space, then I say yes. As long as that potential's there, and as long as the trade makes sense, I say yes. Let's trade Miles Sanders. I say yes. But again, we'll see. And I think Broski, I think you'd make the trade too, just because of also the cap space. You'd save like six. I think I saw it where if we traded Miles Sanders. So let's go look at this real quick. Actually, we can go over let's go back to the Carolina Panthers cap space. Well, I can make a trade in there. So if we go into over the cap, where's Miles Sanders? I'm going to share this tab instead. So if I go into the cap, we got to find Miles. So let's say if I go with trade post June 1st. So if we trade Miles Sanders post June 1st, we would only take a 1.4 million dead cap, so dead money hit right here, and we would save $6.2 million, which then would put us, if you add that up, would put us at like $12 million. So if we are able to trade him, if this is a scenario that happens, you save yourself $12 million, and you can obviously go after those positions of need. Yeah, Matt Chat, if we're talking probably, 5 years ago? Something like that? We would say that would be an absolute bomb lineup, right? So I think it's a scenario that we could definitely look at. Long time no see, Mr. Robstar. What's up, Chance the Fapper? Again, I think that again, it makes sense as long as the trade makes sense and it's worth the compensation back to us. I say yes. Matt Chatter, who's our D tackles? Well, I can pull that. I'm gonna pull the roster up. Give me a second. Sorry. I can pull up the roster real quick. Guys, make sure you do me a favor. Make sure you pound that like button, please. Have you been doing some scouting? I'm gonna start once the obviously once the college football starts. Chance, you're already coming in with all this draft, the preparing for the draft. All right, let's look at the lineup here, Mad Chatter. Who's our D tackles? I want to say it's Shy. I know it's Shy. So we brought, okay, so here's our D tackles. Oh, wait, no, those are tackles. Sorry, what am I doing? Interior defenders, thank you. All right, so Jaden Peavy, who we just brought back, Walter Palmore, Popo, Amuvier, but I think he's injured if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's came back yet. Nick Thurman, LeBron Ray, Junior Aho, Raquan Williams, TJ Smith, Shy Total, Jaden, O'Shawn Robinson. Good Lord. And then, of course, Derek Brown. But again, both of these guys are outside. They were technically defensive ends. They're not, right? These two. Jaden's more of a nose tackle. Nick Thurman's more of a nose tackle. And they got Shy at nose. I had a lot of hope for this kid. But he's on IR right now. Yep. Damn. Carl Williams. Jaden Peavy. All right. Word is college divisions be changed. They might be. The Panthers' dream season would be finding Bryce Young as our franchise and obtaining a top pick. So Chase the Fapper, honestly, yeah. Him being a franchise would be finding Bryce Young as our friend. Yeah, I mean, it would be great. I mean, that would be like a 6-11 season. You go 5-12, 6-11, and he still throws for 3,500 yards. I was talking about PPG in here and Mad Chatter and Broski Bear and Marcos. I was telling them, I need to see this year from Bryce Young over 3,500 yards. I need to see 20 plus touchdowns, 12 interceptions or less. That's a significant impact. That's a significant improvement. It's over 700 yards more than what he threw last year. It's also 10 plus touchdowns more than what he threw last year. And the interceptions, honestly, if he keeps it the same, then we're in business. Because 10 interceptions ain't bad. I only like Brown and Ray. I like Nick Thurman. I like LeBron Ray as well. I think Jaden Crometti has a lot of potential. O'Shawn, and of course, Derek, I'm fine with. I had a lot of hope for Popo, but it sucks that he's on IR. So it's unfortunate. So lots of good stuff, man. I'm glad I was able to go live today. I've been traveling. That was the reason why I wasn't able to really get with you guys while I was away. I was honestly traveling, so that's why I couldn't do it. So, guys, also, don't forget to go check out Roundtable Sports. Let's roll that clip real quick.
Roundtable Sports Network brings you NFL divisional debate coverage on a weekly basis from your favorite content creators across YouTube, featuring the AFC East Roundtable live Monday and Wednesday evenings, the AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST. The AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST. The NFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST. The AFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST. The NFC East Roundtable live Thursdays at 6 p.m. EST. Roundtable Sports. Real coverage from real fans.
So I just want to play that clip real quick. Make sure you guys go do that. Go check out Roundtable Sports. Go over to Mad Chatter. You should shove to it. Not because don't be asking the chat that. How do you do it? All right, well, I'll show you how to do it. Let's go. Y'all ready? I'll show you how to do this. It's very easy. How do you do it? Well, you go over to down here. Well, or you look up Roundtable Sports. So you go to Roundtable Sports here. Okay. Roundtable Sports is right here. Okay. You can go to the community. You can go to playlist, live. That's all them. You go over there. You hit the subscribe button. Okay. All right. There are also channels. So you scroll down to the channels. You hit view all. You go to the NFC South Roundtable. Here it is. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go here, copy this. So you're going to go in here, paste. All right. There's the link to the Roundtable Sports. Here's the link to the Roundtable NFC South. Go like and subscribe to both of those. And do me a favor. Go and check it out. And see, look, we already have an upcoming stream tomorrow. As you can see here, an upcoming stream tomorrow. NFC South Roundtable, Week 1 preseason takeaways. Okay. And make sure you go and subscribe to Mr. Bucks Nation, State of the Saints podcast. Go check them out. Okay. All right. Go ahead and already hit that thumbs up button on the live stream. All right. Do me a favor too. Okay. Do me a favor here. Let's get this live stream to 50 likes. All right. I'm going to end it before that, but let's try to get to 50 likes for me by the end of today. All right. So whether you rewatch this or whatever you do, make sure you pound the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm glad to be back home, and I'm going to be able to bring y'all some more content. So I got some more content coming out to you guys today. Got some more shorts, got some more Madden shorts coming out today because I need to finish up those. And I got some other stuff that I want to talk about. So I'll have some more content coming out to you guys later on today. So appreciate everyone joining the live stream. I'm going to hop off of here. Y'all know what to do. Go check out the Roundtable Sports. Go check out the NFC South. Do me those two favors, like and subscribe there as well. All right. Shout out to our sponsorship, BetUS, betus.com. Link is down in the description of this video. It takes you right to it. Sign up for free today. You'll get three bets right now if you sign up for free today to 125% bonus on your first 3 bets if you sign up today. All right. So go check them out. Also, feel free to join the Discord and also follow me on all of my socials. I would greatly appreciate it because Instagram, I'm going to start posting on Instagram today. Instagram is going to be another way of me, influencing the channel. So just go ahead and start following me there as well. So appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Love you guys. I'm out of here. Y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. Peace.